Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I'm very excited to demo Alter Quest. This is the most recent modular deck game from Adam and Brady Sadler. They are publishing it through Blacklist Games, and this is basically in the same line as Street Masters and Brook City, but it is fantasy and hero quest inspired. So before we even open the box, as you can see, there's this like really cool mat board that has all these different rooms on it, and as you're about to see, we're going to get to explore these rooms kind of in our own way and at our own pace, and check out as much as we can in the sample turns that I'm going to show you. So none of these rooms are anything specific yet. I'm going to show you how you give each room personality as you explore. The first thing we're going to do though is set up our cards. I'm just going to set them up around the borders because we're not going to play out a full game, and I'm going to keep everything on camera so you can see it. So here's our cleric, Cedrin Highmore. Let's zoom in on him. So Cedrin is a cleric. He has a health of 12. He has a range of 4, which is pretty cool. He has a defense of 1. And then these are his various stat attributes. So as you can see, he's weaker in some areas, stronger in others. This represents the number of dice he's going to roll at the baseline for a number of different checks we're going to have throughout the game. Rado has done a solo-only playthrough with the other character in here, Rowan. And Michael from One Stop Co-op Shop has done a 2-player co-op. So I'm going to give you guys some solo Cedrin action today. So Cedrin is going to get to start with a couple of things already out of his deck. So he'll have a deck, just like in Street Masters, every character has their own deck of cards to work with that you draw from. But they also get to start with 2 pieces of equipment, which kind of gets you going before you play any cards. So Cedrin's are going to be his steel mace, which is range 1, it's a melee weapon. And as you can see, you have an attack action, and then if you exhaust the symbol, which I'm going to explain in a moment, you can deal 1 damage to an enemy within range, and damage is something that kind of overcomes armor. It's an automatic hit. So he has a steel mace. He also has his Star of Luna. So this one, if you exhaust it, after a character within range rolls dice for a test, you can add a success to the results. If you exhaust it with one of these runes that I'm going to show you how to use, you can add a critical to the results, which means you get a success and you get to roll again. So it's a pretty sweet piece of equipment. He's also going to have just his deck of cards. So here is his deck, and we are going to draw our initial hand of 4. If you don't like what you draw, you can actually mulligan, so it's not really too big a deal if we don't get stuff we like, but because this is a playthrough anyway, we are just going to take what we get. What will fate give us? So, we got a good one. So this is Aluna's Wrath. This is an attack card that uses his most powerful stat. So you can attack and then choose a hero within range to gain 1 focus. The hero in range will of course always be me because I'm playing solo. And then again, you can have a rune that deals an extra damage to an enemy within range. Our next card is going to be Guiding Light. It is a card that lets you search a room, and then you can roll up to 2 alter dice and move a hero up to 2 spaces. So basically, it's kind of a combo card that gives you a lot of different stuff you can get done, which I really like a lot. It's a nice action. And then we have Aluna's Blessing, which basically allows us to add successes to the results of a check. And basically anything is a check. If you're resisting enemy damage, it's a check. If you're attacking someone, it's a check. If you're searching, it's a check. So this is a very useful card across a range of activities. And then a Rousing Hymn. I can rouse my own spirits with my hymn. So basically you do another test, and then for each success, you choose a hero within range to gain 1 focus, which is something that'll become clear soon. Or you can use a rune to choose a hero within range to perform an action, and you can use a rune to choose a hero within range to perform an action. So basically it's like a dual use card. So all of these uses are going to become clear as we go. But as you can see, the cards aren't pure like, oh, attack, ooh, strong attack. They're cards that allow you to manipulate various parts of the game, that allow you to add actions, that allow you to enhance actions. Makes for a pretty interesting card play so far. I've been really happy with that. So we're going to put Cedrin's stuff kind of down here in the corner to pull back out when we need it. Actually, let's put it to the right. It's closer to me. So we're going to put Cedrin's stuff here, and we will discuss all of that as we go. So we got our hero set up. And then there are a few more decks to set up. So this is one of their modular deck system games. And what that means is that we have several decks that we're going to be kind of dealing with throughout the game. So the next thing that we're going to set up is a quest. So in this case, there's only one quest in the box. It's a demo. So we're going to do the cleansing. While some argue that altars are divine conduits that should not be meddled with by mortals, their power is undeniable and cannot fall into the wrong hands. It's been decided by the Council of Five Holds that the altars should be cleansed. This is actually going to give us full-on setup instructions. So we need to remove each copy of Altar Stone from the quest deck and place one random copy in each hero's threat area with one quest token on it, and then remove the remaining copies of from the game. So what that means is we need to get a copy of Altar Stone, one of them, remove the rest from the game, and put one in Cedrin's threat area, which I'll show you now. So there are 4 different Altar Stone cards. The only real difference between them is they each have a different descriptor. So we have Inscribed, Alluring, ooh, Heavy, and Delicate. So we're going to shuffle them, draw one for Cedrin, and the rest come out. So Cedrin has the Heavy Altar Stone. So he's going to be hauling this heavy thing all the way through. These guys are going to leave the game, and we're going to put a quest token on the one that he got. All right, so we're going to put this one quest token on our Altar Stone, and that part is set up. Next, it says, when building the feature deck, which I might as well just show you now, you shuffle together the Altar Found card and 2 other feature cards, and you place them at the bottom of the focus deck. So what that means is that within the feature cards, I've already shuffled, so I'm just going to leave them. But there are these feature cards that let you figure out what feature to put in each room that you open. Somewhere in the bottom 3 is the Altar Found card, so you don't quite know when you're going to hit it, but you have to play for a while before you do. So here's our feature deck. We're just going to put it up above, and we'll draw from it as needed. So next, we are going to remove each cleansing card from the quest deck and shuffle them together to create the cleansing deck, and set that deck near the quest area. We'll shuffle the rest of the quest cards, and I'll show you the other side of this card. So here are the cleansing cards that we're going to shuffle up. We probably won't actually see them in play because I'm just going to do some sample turns, but what you should know about them is they just give you tests that allow you to remove quest tokens from your Altar Stone. So the reason that they exist is because these quest tokens prevent you from cleaning the altar that we have to cleanse at the end of this and then finishing your task. So these will build up on here over the course of the game. This deck gives you a way to remove them in order to win. We also have these normal quest cards that you'll see in play. All right, so let's have a look at the cleansing card before we actually finish setup. It says, if the villain is defeated, the altar has been cleansed and the heroes win the game. The villain cannot suffer damage while a copy of Altar Stone is in play. So remember how I told you we needed to clean off those Altar Stones? Yeah. So if a hero controls an Altar Stone with no quest tokens on it, we get to remove that card from the game. So clean off the quest tokens, Altar Stone goes away, we can hit the big bad. But until then, during every quest phase, which I'll show you, this has an activation, which is each hero with a copy of Altar Stone in their threat area must either resist using an intelligence test or draw one lurker card. Each hero who controls an Altar Stone must activate each minion in their threat area, so basically we get attacked an extra time. And if the altar is in a revealed room, we draw one villain card. So it accelerates the arrival of the villain, whether or not we can hit him. So basically we're just going to get a whole lot of pressure on us, first to find the altar and then to deal with it in time, so that the villain can't come at us while he's still invulnerable. So we'll put this here for now, put our quest cards over here. Now we do have to have a threat because, you know, what is a game like this without an enemy to fight? So our enemy in this case is going to be the Frogs. There's kind of strange frog people. And their flavor text is, hailing from the Swamp Isle of Graced, the various Frogs clans have a long history of infighting. These frog-like creatures are bred into violence and seek only to wreck and ruin. They can put threat tokens on your cards, which basically when you heal, instead of healing damage, you remove threat tokens. It delays and makes it more difficult to heal. So we have our Frogs description, and then there's just a deck of Frogs cards that we shuffle and put down here to draw from. And so we have threats, but we also need a big bad, a villain. So we will set up a villain deck. In this case, our villain is a Frox leader, but in the actual game, when there's more decks to play with, you can have like a Frox leader with, I don't know, just whoever as the threats or vice versa. So we're going to be fighting against the very lovely Bulks the Belch Lord. So he has 8p HP, but what that really means is that I'm playing a true solo game, so his hit points will be 8. He has a range of 9, some really nasty attacks, and a defense of 2. So once he shows up, he's going to be pretty nasty. He won't be out yet, but whew. So he has some flavor text. So, Bulks the Belch Lord. The wetlands that poison the southern borders of Ritica are home to the unsavory tribes of Frox. While most of these tribes are constant nuisances to local civilized folk, the bloated warlord Bulks leads the worst of the worst. His sheer size garners respect and fear among the Frox, and his greed is exactly what the common Frox seek in leadership. However, Bulks' reputation has grown mostly due to his unnatural ability to control the worst of his bodily fluids. Any living being near Bulks will feel his repulsive presence like a plague. I don't want to sit next to this guy in an airplane. Let's just say that. So he's going to stay here. He does have an activation that we'll talk through. And then he has this villain deck where he also kind of brings negative effects to the board. So we have our villain, we have our threat, we have our quest, and we have a couple smaller decks to set up. We've already set the feature deck, which I showed you during setup. There are also search cards, which are used to get kind of goodies and items when we search a room. And then there's one more deck called the Lurker deck, and these are kind of random enemies that can spawn under certain conditions in the game. So they're not part of your official threat deck, but they're still a threat. So now we're ready to begin, basically. All right, so we have some stairs. We can put these in any room that we want in order to start. So what room do we want to start in? Let's do, you know what, why don't we just start up top and work our way down to the bottom, eh? So let's put the stairs here. So see these arrows? When you put a feature in a room, this brightest arrow, if it's a size 1 feature, you put it here. 2, and then a 4 space thing. So this is a 4 space thing. So we're going to put the stairs right there. We're going to get our miniature for Cedrin, which looks pretty good. At one point he was holding a mace, but Michael Kelly from One Stop Co-op Shop sent me this demo copy, and well, blame him. So Cedrin, let's put him right here so we can run towards a door. So we can either run towards this door and maybe come around. We can do whatever we want. We have a lot of freedom in this game. Oh, before we get started, this unstable altar will also be in the quest area, being unstable. So we'll deal with that every quest phase. Okay, so we're ready to start playing, and basically this is going to follow a pretty reasonable sequence of events. It's just that it'll seem like there's a lot going on when we open up new rooms, but I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So we're going to start with the hero turn. I get to take 3 actions on my turn. So those actions include a number of different things. So I can move, I can take an action that's on a card, I can interact, which there will be descriptions for how that actually works. I can play an action card, so play and resolve 1 action card from your hand. So there are cards that say other things like feat or react. So those do not count as actions, and so you can kind of abuse that for free stuff. You can draw 1 card, so if you are looking for a certain card, you can hunt for it. You can rest, which lets you discard 1 supply. Supplies we'll find throughout the game. They kind of represent food or other scavenged items. And we can heal 2 damage. Or we can channel, which allows us to gain 1 focus and change 1 altar die to a result of our choice. Then we get to draw a card and we flip over. So the altar is the last big thing of the game. So we have the unstable altar out, but then we're going to roll some altar dice. So basically the premise of this is that the altar is unstable and it's kind of giving off all this wild magic. So there's all this crazy elemental magic in the air, and it's of different types. So here's what we've rolled. This is not a great roll for us actually, because we rolled 2 water, and the frogs really like to use water in the air. There are other things that we would prefer. So we are going to have probably some nasty consequences from all this water. And we will see how all of that works. But right now the altar is looking a little bit ominous. And it's set up. So now we get to do 3 actions. Once that's over, I'm going to walk you through the threat turn. So basically enemies come out. The villain turn. So the ultimate villain has a negative impact on us in some way. And then the quest turn, where we just resolve all the different little quest activations. So some of them are good, some of them are bad. We'll just have to see. So naturally, the first thing that we're going to do, I think, is move. We're going to move to the nearest door, which, let's just go ahead and go to this one because it's not too far to the next door. So let's go 1, 2. So movement in this game can usually be diagonal, so it would be legal to go 1, 2. But when you open a door, you have to be right in the door space. So we are getting right in this door space so we can open a door, reveal a feature, and go about our day. So let's do 1, 2, and we can take our third move after we open a door. So check this out. When you open a door in this game, you get to use one of these sweet door miniatures. Like, they were not playing when they made this demo copy. So we're going to go through the door 3. But we've revealed a room. So we have to do the reveal a room stuff. So there's a number of different things that we're going to do. The first one is that we're going to draw a feature card and figure out what feature is in the room. So let's see. Our first feature is going to be a bookshelf, which is pretty cool. So basically, when we activate it, a hero adjacent to this feature may draw 1 card. We will activate it during the quest phase. And then we interact with it. If we want, we can search it. And then for each supply gained during this test, we can choose a hero in the room to draw a card. So it allows you to draw extra cards. Useful. So let's go and check out this bookshelf. There is, in fact, a really cool miniature for it. So here's the bookshelf mini. I mean, they really did not spare details on this. This is pretty neat. So it's a 2-space, feature. So we're going to put it right here over these 2 spaces. So there's a bookshelf in the corner of the room now that wasn't there before. And now we have to do a few more things before this room reveal process is done. Next, we're going to draw a quest card from the cleansing quest deck and see what happens. So we got Rune Chamber. Faint light spills from this room as you open the door. The walls are adorned with various markings that resemble many of the known runes, as well as many unknown runes. Certainly this place was used to experiment and study the powers of the altar. So when revealed, we attach this card to the room's feature card. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And then when it activates during the quest phase, we're going to have a hero adjacent to the attached feature may test for intelligence, gaining +1 die if the inscribed altar stone is in their threat area. Sadly, we have the heavy one, so no. If, however, the hero passes, they may discard this card to gain control of an altar stone in their threat area. This is actually great. So if you can move an altar stone from your threat area to your control area, it stops gaining those quest tokens. It becomes easier to clean. The quest becomes easier to win. So there's a lot of strategic importance actually to this card. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to the bookshelf like so. And then we're going to put it down in the quest area. So all these things will activate during the quest phase. So now what we're going to do is we are going to draw a threat card, one of these Frox cards, and see what it is. It is a Froxling Swarm. So it's an event. It's not, I was expecting an enemy, but we got an event. There are a few of those in here too. We have to put this in our threat area, and to interact with it, which is an action we have to take during our turn, we can discard 1 focus, which we don't currently have, to discard this card. If we activate it, well, when it activates during the threat phase, we have to test against it. If we fail, we gain a threat token, which are the things that make it harder for you to heal. Then for each threat token you have, either discard 1 focus or suffer 1 damage. And then if there's water in the air, which right now there is, you suffer 1 additional damage. So like, they don't annoy me right now. They are sure gonna annoy me later. So we're gonna put them down here in the threat area and continue. All right, so that was all 1 action. It really seems like a lot happened, but don't let it freak you out. All that really happened was that we just revealed a new room. And so there's like a procedure for when you reveal a new one. All we actually did in terms of our actions was move into the room, and then we had to set up once we did that. And all you do to set up is draw a feature, draw a quest card, draw a threat. So it seemed like a lot went down, but it actually was pretty simple. So I'm going to use the fact that I don't have somebody to fight immediately in this room to do something a little bit tricksy. So I'm going to choose to play a card as my second action. What I'm going to play is Guiding Light. I could go search the bookcase and try to draw some cards by moving and getting adjacent to it, but that's an action I don't feel like taking just now. So I'm going to use my Guiding Light to just do a general room search action, and then I can roll up to 2 altar dice and choose a hero to move up to 2 spaces. So let's think about what altar dice I would like to re-roll. See how there's some water over here? I don't like that. Also, if I spend a water, I can actually change all other altar dice to a result of my choice. So basically, I can search, get some supplies maybe roll some dice so that I can do a test and, get some focus tokens, which I'll show you, and then like do a bunch of stuff. So this is a very useful card because rather than take a move and search the bookcase the normal way, I can do this sort of powerful search action that's also going to let me change the altar dice that I don't like. So first I get to search. I'm going to search using my blue stat, which is 3 dice for me, actually, as Cedrin, so that was a good choice. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these 3 dice and we're going to roll them. I'll talk you through the results. Okay, so what we had here was a success, and then a success plus a focus token, which I don't have one yet. So there are 4 different types of die results on these dice. There's a straight up success. There's a straight up focus token. So basically, if you take a focus token, it's a really interesting thing. The Saddlers don't typically give you dice that are totally worthless. So if you roll this and don't have any focus tokens or choose to take one, you get a focus token. Later, if you roll this result, you can spend a focus token to turn it into a success. So there's no such thing as a totally lost die roll. It's just you may not get what you want right away. There's both a success and a focus token. And then there is this burst critical sign, and when you have a crit, you get to take a success and then roll again. So if you roll crit after crit after crit, theoretically you could have a whole lot of successes, but not so likely. But this was just a normal success. So we've had 3 successes, which is fabulous, and then we get a focus token. So here's a focus token. We are going to take it. We'll just put it on Cedrin. You can't have more than 5, but they're very useful, so we'll collect a few. So when you search, here's how it works. I have 3 successes, but I don't get to draw 3 search cards. I get to discard 1 success to draw 1 search card. So we'll see what we got. Ooh, we got a Potion of Healing. So basically I can use it to choose a character within range, that would be myself, to heal 3 damage. Very nice. So I'm just going to stick it over here with my cards to enjoy later. The other 2 successes can't be exchanged for cards, but they can be used to pick up supply tokens. So I just got 2 supply tokens in addition to that focus. So the supplies look like little backpacks and they are very useful. So I'm going to collect these over here. When you have a whole party of heroes, the party does not share focus tokens. Those are individual, but the supply packs are a shared pool of resources as opposed to individual. I mean, in this case, it doesn't matter, but just for your information. Then, because we've searched the room, so I think you're really supposed to put this on the search card, but I'm going to put it in the room. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it'll remind me the next time I try to search in here that I already have. So in rooms where you've searched, basically it gets harder to keep searching them, which represents fewer and fewer cool materials being in there anyway. So the next time I search this room, if I choose to do it again, I have to take 1 success away before I start to count any of my successes in the room. So, if I had rolled this and this was already here, then it would really count as having 2 successes instead of 3 because these cancel each other out. So rooms get harder to search as you go. But for now, my search action is done. Then I can roll up to 2 altar dice and choose a hero to move up to 2 spaces. I like it. So I'm going to prepare to come open this door. So that's 1 move for me. And then I am going to, well, it says, okay, so it says this and this. I don't think it matters the order. So I moved, and let's look at our altar dice situation. Okay, so I definitely want to re-roll them. Let's do this. Let's just re-roll the waters. Okay, and we got fire and fire. So we don't actually have to burn a rune to do this. Just so you know, if I had also rolled a water, I could choose to spend this rune to roll another die, and then I would roll it again. So basically, these are a constantly rotating little pool of magical options, which I think is really neat. So we have reduced our water threat, which is actually super useful because Cedrin only has one more action, and then it is the enemy's turn to come at us, and trust me, we do not want lots of water runes in the air. So we're going to discard this lovely card that brought us so much. It's actually great. And now we can do one more thing. So the deal is we cannot actually go through another door and reveal another room. It's only one new room per hero per turn. So I've set Cedrin up to do some stuff, but I have not, I've not put him into a position to reveal 2 rooms on the same turn. So he can't do that. Actually, now that I think about it, let's do something a little more exciting. So I'd moved him 1, 2 from the door. Let's actually move him just 1 right here to the bookshelf. Yeah, let's do that. So that way he'll be adjacent to the bookshelf for the upcoming quest turn, and I can show you a different result because he can just take a move and come to the door. It'll be okay. So he's done 2 actions. So instead of doing the move from the card here, we chose to do it here just to make the game more interesting to see. We have 1 more action. So I think what I'm going to do is, because I have this one, okay. So since I have this 1 focus token here, I think I'm going to choose to interact because this Frostling Swarm is pretty damaging. I don't want to deal with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to interact. So this interact says discard 1 focus to discard. So we're going to do it. Let's interact. We're going to discard this focus. And now this card goes away. So during the threat phase, I don't have to activate it, which I think is convenient. So those are my 3 actions. I am done for this turn. So after your turn, you do draw a card. In this case, I got another Faith Rewarded. So next we have a threat turn. In any order the players choose, each hero resolves the activate text on each card in their threat area from left to right. So in any order means if you have multiple heroes, you get to pick who goes first. But threat cards are always resolved from left to right, and they just kind of pop in order. So we did get rid of the Frostlings, but we do also have this Altar Stone that we have to worry about. So let's activate. If it's in our threat area, which it is, you place 1 quest token on this card. So we have to add another quest token that we'll have to cleanse from this thing eventually. All right, so let's put another token on. And then that was our entire threat, because this is our threat area. So that wasn't too bad. Next, we're going to have a villain turn. And what that means is that there's going to be a villain card that comes out. So we're going to pull a villain card, draw and resolve 1 villain card. If the villain has been defeated, each hero must draw 1 threat card instead. But we're not even there. So we're going to draw 1 villain card and we're going to resolve it. All right, so, we got Concealing Flatulence. Oh my god, my high schoolers would love this. All right, so each minion gains 2 armor tokens. Fortunately, there are no minions out, so that part does not happen. Each hero with no minion in their threat area must draw 1 lurker card. So I had avoided enemies thus far, but it was not to last. So now we have to draw a lurker card and put another enemy out. But we're going to resolve it. So let's see what lurker we get. All right, so we've drawn a lurker, and it is a profaned shambler. So it's basically this creepy zombie. He has a miniature. So as you can see, he's kind of like stumbling along the way that zombies do. It's pretty creepy. And he has 2 armor, but 3 health, 1 range, and 3 movement. So when we activate him, he's either going to try to inflict 5 might damage, or if he can't, he'll try to inflict a different type of damage. So basically, no matter what with an enemy, if it can't hit you, it can still do something, and it's not going to be good. So you can't let these guys hang for too long. So that was exciting. And then let's see, each character, if when he activates, if there's a rune of this symbol, which there are a couple right now, each character in this enemy's room must resist for some more damage. So he's pretty irritating. We're going to have to do something about him. But for now, he's going to go in the threat area. And we're going to have to put his miniature out. So you put the mini out in the room that your hero's in. And see this thing that looks like a gross little hole in the ground? He's going to come out of here. So that's where he's going to be. It's not very convenient for what I was hoping to do with my time, but I guess you got to deal with what you got to deal with. All right, so we have a profaned shambler on the scene. So that was the whole villain turn, because that was resolving our villain card. Now we're going to have the quest turn, where we resolve the activate text on each card in the quest play area from left to right, and then flip the card back to the hero turn. All right, so the first card that we have in the quest area is the cleansing. Each hero with a copy of Alterstone in their threat area must either resist using an intelligence test for 3 or draw 1 lurker card, which I do not want to do. Each hero who controls an Alterstone must activate each minion in their threat area. If the altar is in a revealed room, draw 1 villain card. So the first thing that we have to do is resist using an intelligence check, and we have to try to get 3 successes. If we don't, the difference will be damage to us. So my intelligence is okay, it's 2, but we'll be lucky if we don't take a little damage here. Okay, so we rolled 2 successes, which is good, but we will take 1 damage. So Cedrin's going to take 1 damage from not totally passing his intelligence test. So 1 damage. It's not a disaster yet, but it will be. Okay, so we did that. We did that part. So we chose not to draw the lurker. We chose to do the resist. And then now we have to activate each minion. Wait, no, that's each hero who controls an Alterstone must activate. So we don't control the Alterstone. It's in our threat area. So we do not have to activate the minion, which actually is a shame because I would have liked him to move closer to me so I could go hit him. But what can you do? Okay, so that's our situation there. Next, we're going to activate the unstable altar. So for activation here, it says roll all dice in the altar pool. Then each hero in the altar's room, they roll 1 altar die. So we're not in the altar's room. We are going to re-roll all the dice in the pool. So things are just constantly shifting with the altar dice. Okay, so this is a very bad roll for us. Very bad, because it's got so much water. So we'll have to see what we can do about it. But the last thing that we're going to do is bookshelf. A hero adjacent to this feature may draw 1 card. So at least we do get to draw a card because we're adjacent to the feature. So faith rewarded. If passed, we can either return 1 prayer card from our discard pile to our hand or choose a hero to draw 1 card. So we can either draw a new card or we can go back and dig for something we liked. And then with this symbol, we can search our deck for 1 prayer card of our choice, add it to our hand, and then shuffle the deck. So it's a way to sift through for cards you really want. Also, it's a feat, so it doesn't count as an action. It's free. All right, so we'll put it over here. And then activate. A hero adjacent to the attached feature may test their intelligence for 3 successes, gaining a +1 die if the inscribed Alterstone is in their threat area. If the hero passes, they can discard this card to gain control of an Alterstone in their threat area. So we're probably not going to pass, but let's try. Oh, so here's 1 success. There's a critical, so that's 2 successes. 3! Oh my god, we actually did pass. So we passed the intelligence test for 3. And that means that we can move the Alterstone out of our threat area and put it in our controlled card area. So now the Alterstone is in fact under our control. But that's good because it means it's going to quit gaining so many quest tokens and it'll be easier for us to deal with down the line. Fantastic. So now the quest turn is over and we are back over to the hero turn. So we get our 3 actions and we're going to start again. So I think probably I need to move over this way so that we don't deal with this enemy that's just endlessly being a huge pain in the rear. All right, so now it's Cedrin's turn. I think what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go for it. So let's do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to open a door as a free action. So we're going to draw a feature card, draw a quest card, draw a threat card. So the first thing is a feature. So we got a fungal patch. Ooh, activate. A hero adjacent to this feature may deal 1 damage to an enemy in this room. Ooh, that's worth trying at some point. And then interact. Search for each supply gained during this test. You can deal 1 damage to an enemy in this room. That's pretty cool. So maybe for next turn. So we're going to draw a quest card to pair with it. So we got Cursed Corey. It says when revealed, attach this card. Oh, wait. Let's do the flavor text. It's fun. So we have, rubble is strewn about in this makeshift quarry. Whatever was digging here was determined to unearth something of incredible value. Perhaps a piece of the altar can be found amongst the broken stone. All right, so when revealed, you attach this card to the feature card. And then a hero adjacent to the attached feature can test Might, gaining +1 if the heavy altar stone is in their threat area. So that actually would have been useful, except that we gained control of our quest, our altar stone during the last quest phase. So if we still had not, this would actually be great. We get an extra die because the heavy altar stone is the one that we have. But for now, we'll just attach. We're gonna put the fungal patch out in the room. This miniature is very cool looking. So check it out, it actually does look, that's a pretty good mini, I like it. All right, so we're gonna put it right here. So see these white arrows? If it's 2, it goes in the white ones. There we go. And then, of course, sadly, we also do have to draw a threat card. So let's see what we pull. Muck Stakes. So it's a trap. When we trigger it, it's going to inflict. If we interact with it, we have to do task. So we have to basically get progress on it in order to make it go away. And activate. Each character in this room gains 1 threat token and must resist for 3 when it activates. If there are no characters in this room, draw 1 threat card and discard this card. So when there's a trap, you put it adjacent to the feature, as close to the hero as possible. So Cedron's not actually in this room, so we're gonna have a totally different threat activation, frankly. But this will go in the threat area with our Profaned Shambler. So we have a lot of stuff to deal with all by ourselves. But hopefully we can make some progress. Because for our third action, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play a card. And we are going to play Aluna's Wrath. So for this one, it's an attack. We can attack using our willpower, of which we have quite a bit. And then we can choose a hero within range to gain a focus. That'll be us. And then we can use this fire rune to deal 1 damage to an enemy within range. So if we can get a little bit of damage in on him, he only takes 3 before he dies, so we might be able to do something about it. But he has an armor of 2, so we're gonna have to break through it. Interesting, okay. So we have 2 focuses and a crit. So it's success and success. I'd really like to see some more successes, so let's see if we can pull it off. And another success. So it's only 3 successes. So I think what I'm going to do is, because you can kind of spend these how you want, success, success, success is going to be enough to do 1 damage to him, and we need to get to 3. So we have 1. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a focus token, and then I'm going to spend it to convert this one into a success for 2. And then I'm going to use this fire rune to inflict 1 more damage to him for 3. 3. So he is dead. Because we used this fire, we have to re-roll it to water. We are screwed. But the good news is that since we got rid of the Profane Shambler, so that was very good, he goes away. The miniature goes back to the box. And we get a supply token, because every time you defeat an enemy, you get a supply. So we'll take the supply, add it to our supplies. We got plenty of snacks here in this altar dungeon. So that's good. At the end of my turn, I do draw a card. So in this case, I got Healing Hands. It is a pretty sweet healing card that we'll check out later. And now our stuff is over, so we're gonna go to the threat turn. Okay, so now it's time to activate our threats. The only one that's left here is the Muck Stakes. So what's gonna happen is, we didn't trigger it because we're not close enough. We can't interact with it because we didn't. That's an our turn sort of thing. And then activate. Each character in this room gains a threat token and has to resist. However, I'm not in this room. I'm in that room. I haven't passed through the door yet. So what that's going to mean is that if there are no characters in this room, draw 1 threat card and discard this one. So this card gets discarded and we have to draw a different threat card, which, so fun. All right, we got another Froxling Swarm. That's annoying, but at least it just goes in the threat area for now. What a pain. Okay, so that is done. That's our threat area. Aluna's Wrath will go to our discard, but we might dig it back out later. So now we're gonna go to the villain turn. So let's see what bulks the Belchlord has in store for us. All right, so let's see. He has for us a Noxious Presence. Gross. So each hero must resist using their, I think it's Fortitude for 3. Each hero that suffers damage from this needs to either discard 1 supply or suffer 1 damage. So basically, if you fail, you suffer damage and then you suffer more damage. Great. So our hero has a Fortitude of 2. We don't have any focus tokens because we used them to get the zombie. Let's roll. Okay, so sadly, we did not pass the test fully. It was we had to resist for 3. We've got 2 successes. So we do get this focus token for this focus here. But because we have suffered damage from this, we get 1 damage for the difference between 3 and 2. So we got damage from the resist itself. And now we have to choose whether we're going to suffer another damage or discard a supply. So I think that because supplies can be a little tough to come by, I'm going to just take the damage. So I've chosen to take another damage, and Noxious Presence is now resolved. So now that the villain turn is over, we get to do the quest turn. Yay! Okay, so now we resolve the activate text on each card in the quest play area. First, the cleansing. So, activate. Each hero with a copy of Altar Stone in their threat area, that's not us, we don't have to do this test. Each hero who controls an Altar Stone must activate each minion in their threat area. If the altar is in a revealed room, draw 1 villain card. So we do not have a minion, so this is actually not too bad. So that was an easy activation. The Unstable Altar is going to make us reroll our dice. It's a little less watery this time, much to my pleasure. Lots of fire and earth. And then we had the bookshelf, which we're not next to it, so it doesn't really matter. And the fungal patch, we're also not next to it, so it doesn't matter. So if we were next to either of these, we would get a bonus, but we're not there. We're hanging out, so that's fine. Oh, also this trap is gone because we got rid of the trap when we discarded the card. All right, so now it's time for another hero activation. Let's do 1 more turn, and then we'll call it perhaps a nice demo play. So I think what I'm going to do is, since this room has already been kind of dealt with, I'm actually going to come... I don't want to waste time not exploring rooms, so I need to figure out the most efficient way to do this. I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and move into this room and then do whatever happens. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's open another door, shall we? Oh, we should have put a door over here too, just to mark that they're open and use these cool miniatures. So let's open this door and we'll do another reveal. Okay, so we need to pull a feature card. Let's see what our feature is going to be. A locked chest. Okay, cool. So a hero adjacent to this feature can place 1 search token on this card to draw 1 search card. All right, that's fair. And for interact, for each supply gained during this test, you can reveal a search card, choose 1 to keep, shuffle. Okay, so basically it's just a way to get stuff. Cool, but we'll see what we really want to do with it. Let's find the chest miniature. Aha! Here is our locked chest. We'll put it right here. How exciting. Now we get to draw a quest card. So for this one, it's Hidden Chanter. So it says, a nervous, entreating prayer can be heard from the shadowy corners. While the words are too mumbled to make out entirely, you know the mysterious chanter is empowering the altar. There's only one way to prevent the disembodied voice from thwarting your quest. Find them and silence them. All right, so when revealed, attach this card to this room's feature card. Do not draw threat cards. While this card is attached, doors cannot be opened. Oh, geez. Okay, so we're not going to draw a threat card. But we're also, like, trapped in here. We activate it. Okay, so the interact is, we have to put progress tokens on it. If we activate it, when we activate it, each hero must either place 1 quest token on an altar stone or draw 1 lurker card. So we're basically trapped in here until I can make 4 progress. Woof. So let's attach it to the locked chest. And we are not going to draw threat cards. Okay, so at least we guess we don't have to battle an enemy, but we are just stuck in here. Dang. Alright, so I'd moved twice. Now I have to deal with this just trap in here, so that's going to be rough. Every time it activates, we're going to draw a lurker card, which means that more enemies are just going to appear. So our enemy situation is under control now. It's not going to stay that way. So the first thing let's do is let's finish our movement. You can finish your movement through a door. I'd moved 2 to get here, open the door, and we've moved through. So that was 3. We're in this new room, and I have one more action, and I'm going to need to figure out what to do. I guess the best thing to do is just interact. The good news is that I also do have the Star of Luna, which is going to let me exhaust. I don't have a rune to help me exhaust it more, but I can add a success to my results if I want to. So that's potentially good as well. So yes, for our third action. All right, so the first thing I asked myself was, can I interact with this from here? Apparently the answer is yes. So in the rules, it says if you interact and there's a parentheses next to it with a number, then that is a range, and you have to be within that range of the item that you're talking about to interact with it. However, it doesn't say that here. So for to interact and search it, you have to be within 1. But here, this just says interact with no parentheses. So my assumption is that I can interact from the door, which means that for my third action, we're going to interact. So I need to do a charisma test. So I get to roll 2 dice. So that was a critical, yay, and a success. That's good. So this has a 1 and a circle after the task. So what that means is that I need to get 1 success baseline, and then every success after that counts against the test and counts as progress. So we have 1, 2, 3. We got 3 successes. Then I think what I'm going to do is, in order to make this go by quickly, I'm going to exhaust my Star of Luna. And what that does is, after a character within range rolls dice for a test, you add 1 to the results. So it's really like having 4. So what that means is that I've made 3 progress out of 4 on this card, which drastically increases my odds of succeeding the next time I try. So basically, I am trapped in here until I manage to deal with this test. So yeah, those are my 3 actions that are done. Now that my turn is up, I do get to draw another card, and I got another Healing Hands, which I feel like I'm going to need. So good. And what's going to happen now is we're going to have the threat turn. So in the order the players choose, each hero resolves the activate text on each card in their threat area from left to right. We did not draw a threat card last time because the quest card said don't. So this is in our threat area. We have to test for 3 on our worst stat. That's gonna go great. Cool. If I fail, I get a threat token, and then for each threat token I have to either discard a focus or suffer a damage. So we're gonna get hurt. So the green stat stands for agility, which I do not have in real life and in this game apparently. But, oh, well, we got a crit, so that was 1 success. We have to get to 3. 2. All right, well, we got 2 successes. The good news about that, though, is that we just gain a threat token. It doesn't say that you get damage for a test. So here's a threat token that we're going to put on our card. We'll just put it with our damage. And then we can choose to either discard a focus or take a damage. I think that I want to keep my focus because, like, not having them is really killing me. Let's take a damage. So we're up to 4 damage and a threat token. We're starting to look a little rough. We should probably consume our potion of healing soon, but I can just take care of that when it's my turn again. So the threat turn has gone by. Now it's time for the villain turn. By the way, I would suffer an extra damage if there were a water rune over here, but there's not. Whew. All right, so now it's the villain turn. Let's draw a card for the villain. So we drew Acid Reflux. That's a little true to my life. All right, the hero with the fewest cards in their threat area must resist a test for 4 on my best area. Great. Each other hero must resist a willpower test, which I would have been great at, for 3. We are about to get whacked. Oh no. All right, so let's see what's up for Acid Reflux. So we're gonna have to roll another one of our amazing agility dice to dodge the acid, which is not going to go very well. So we got 1 success. That means that we took 3 damage. No. Okay, so that was really bad. So we're just going to go ahead and make this 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now we have a ton of damage. Woohoo! All right, so the acid reflux got resolved at least, so it's gone. We've resolved the villain turn. Oh, the villain turn. Okay, now we're on the quest turn. So the good news is that on the actual cleansing card, nothing's going to happen for us because each hero controls an altar stone must activate each minion in their threat area. I have none, and the altar is not revealed, so we're good. Unstable altar, we got to reroll the dice. Okay, so we got some stuff, but none of it is is water, so more or less good. These runes are really good for us. And then we'll activate, so we don't need to do anything with the bookshelf because no one's there. We don't need to do anything with the fungal patch because we're not there. We do have to do something with our activation here. So it says activate. Each hero must either place 1 quest token on an altar stone or draw 1 lurker card. That is a bad choice. Well, I'm gonna be bad. I'm gonna put a token on my altar stone instead of take a lurker right now because I have a lot to do, including heal up, and I'm just gonna buy myself a little bit of time. Could have been a mistake, but it is what it is. We gotta get rid of this Froxling Swarm because I'm gonna fail it every time. Well, now I'm hooked, so we're gonna play through 1 more hero turn before this is over. I had to at least get out of this room. Okay, so what's gonna happen now is I have 3 actions. Okay. I have 1 focus. I'm gonna discard it to get rid of the Froxling Swarm because this thing is killing me. So that's gone. That was 1 action, is that interact. My next action is also gonna be an interaction. So we are going to interact with the chest again. I get to roll 2 dice. Also, the Star of Valuna unexhausted at the beginning of my turn, so I can use it again if I need it. But we got 1 success and 1 crit. But let's keep rolling because if I get another focus token, that would be very helpful. Oh, awesome. So it's a success and a focus. Perfect. So having a focus is often a good thing. Oh, also, I totally forgot on the villain turn to do each hero must discard 1 focus or discard 1 supply. Let's say that I did a supply for Bulks the Belchlord. Sorry about that. I got so fixated on my cards. So I have 1 more action, but before I do anything with that, I'm going to consume my Potion of Healing. So choose a character within range to heal 3 damage. So I'm going to heal this threat token first. It just comes off. And then 2 more damage. And then as much as I'd like to keep healing myself, I feel like my best option is to move. So if I'm setting myself for a future turn, I would probably do 1, 2, 3 and start working my way towards this door so I could open another room and get myself closer to the altar. So then I would draw a card because my actions are done. Another Healing Hands. That's, wow, those are stacked. Okay. And then I would do probably, that would be it. So then we'd have a threat turn. There's nothing in the threat area. We'd have a villain turn, which would mean that I would have to give up another supply or a focus. Maybe I'd probably give up a supply. And then we'd draw another card. So in this case, it'd be Noxious Presence again. Roll 2 dice. So we have 2 successes. I can exhaust my Star of Valuna for a 3rd. Make it through the villain turn, so that's done. And then we would do the quest turn, which would mean nothing, there's no minions, so they don't activate on the cleansing card. The unstable altar, we'd roll the dice again. And while I forgot to add it, because I'm a goofball, we actually did make it all the way through this room, so this wouldn't activate, and this is all done. So that would have been our quest turn, and then we'd be setting up for another hero turn. So as you can see, the game also gets faster, like the better you get at it, and the more into the rhythm of the game you get. So even though those first turns seem a little bit long and clunky because you're opening up the rooms and you're getting used to the pattern of doing it, the game actually follows a really logical sequence, and I consider this less bookkeeping than something like Sentinels: The Multiverse, which is one of my favorite games. So if that is something you're concerned about, I wouldn't worry too much about it. So I will say this is just a demo. So I don't know what the final game is going to be like. I can honestly say that I really like the demo. The miniatures are not the most exciting part for me, actually. What I'm really liking is the card play and figuring out how to manipulate tests and manipulate stat bonuses and add dice. And I like dealing with the focus tokens and the supplies and just trying to balance everything. I'm finding that a very enjoyable play process, and I'm really excited to see what kind of stories and adventures all of that can turn into when we see the full game. If you have watched my channel before or read my site, then you'll know it's no secret that I really, really love Street Masters. And this game is interesting because I feel like it's a little more complicated than Street Masters, but it's also a little bit more free. You have a lot more freedom to explore the space. You have a lot more flexibility in terms of the types of actions that you take and in what order you take them. And, you know, there are more decks to manage, but I felt like it was very doable. And like maybe in this case, having more decks, I'm hoping is going to mean that we have more room to tell a better story and have a bigger, more vast adventure. And that is the exchange that you make. I'm also really happy that, so I've played this with 2 characters and I've played it with 1. I'm finding it very doable to do pure solo. So those of you who are pure solo enthusiasts, I think will be pleased with that. If you like to play 2 characters, then that's also totally fine. This is a cooperative game. What I'd be curious to see is that, you know, one of Street Master's biggest issues is that it's best at 1 or 2, and the board gets less manageable at 3 or 4. I'm seeing such a bigger, vaster board, and because everybody's managing their own threats in their own threat area, you know, I wonder if this game will help solve some of those higher player count issues that Street Master's had. So those are my current thoughts on what I've seen of Alter Quest so far. I think it's good. I personally really want the game, and Kato also wants the game. Sorry guys, a new threat card has emerged. But I think that this game really looks promising. For a demo kit, this was a very immersive experience, and I really want to play another adventure. So I hope that this preview was helpful to you. If it was, please do like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it, and leave me a comment below. And happy gaming.